The jackal came out of the scrub at first light, low and quiet, the way hungry things move when they've learned that patience costs nothing. The nest was in the fork of an old cork oak on the eastern slope, a golden eagle's nest built in February, 2 parents carrying branches up from the valley floor over the course of 2 weeks. The chick inside it was small, mostly gray down still, with the oversized feet of a bird that hadn't grown into itself yet. It was alone. Its mother had left before dawn to hunt, riding the first thermals south over the Alentejo plain, unaware that anything had changed below. The jackal reached the base of the cork oak and looked up. He circled it once, testing his options, and then he jumped, not to reach the nest, but to hit the trunk hard enough to rattle it. The branch shook. The nest tilted. The chick scrambled at the edge and lost the scramble, and then it was on the ground, stunned and running, if you could call it that. More of a frantic stumble through the dry grass, wings half open, feet not yet built for this. The jackal came after it with the unhurried trot of an animal that has already done the math. He was 10 meters away when the mother arrived. She came out of the sky the way a thrown stone comes, not gracefully, not like something that is thinking about it, just fast and committed, and already committed to the second move before the first one landed. She hit the air above the jackal like a wall, talons forward, pulling up at the last moment and climbing before he'd finished reacting. He spun and snapped at empty air. She was already above him again. She came down a second time, harder, raking across his back, driving him sideways into the grass. The jackal recovered faster than she'd expected. He shook himself, found the chick with his eyes, and ran. She hit him a third time, full weight, both feet driving into his shoulders, and the jackal stumbled, and the chick dropped from his mouth and landed in the dry grass near the stone wall at the edge of the property. The jackal looked at the eagle circling above him. He looked at the chick. He turned and disappeared back into the scrub. The mother banked wide and began to circle, crying, low and desperate, searching the ground below for something small and gray in all that yellow grass. She didn't find it. What she couldn't see from up there was Bika. Bika was a 4-year-old Rafeiro do Alentejo mix. Big, tawny, unhurried, and she had been watching the whole thing from near the irrigation ditch with her ears forward and her head tilted, in the posture she used when she was trying to understand something. She was that kind of dog, not a fighter, not a chaser, more of a witness, and occasionally, when the situation called for it, something more than that. She walked toward the chick slowly, nose first. She stopped just short of it and looked back toward the farmhouse once, a clear and direct look. And then she picked the chick up in her mouth so carefully it barely moved and carried it back the way she'd come. She was 3 steps from the stone wall when the Montpellier snake came through the grass from the east, thick and fast, heading toward the warm patch of ground where the chick had been lying. Bisa stopped. She put herself between the snake and the wall with her chest out and her tail still, and said nothing because she didn't need to. The snake read the situation and slid back into the grass. Manuel Ferreira was at his kitchen table when Bika pushed the door open with her nose. He was 63 years old, retiring on Friday, and he had been sitting with his second coffee and a wildlife report he was supposed to have filed 2 weeks ago, and kept not filing because filing meant something was finished that he wasn't entirely ready to call finished. 31 years with the Alentejo Reserve. 31 years of wolf collars and river levels and fire perimeters and birds of prey surveys that he had written up carefully and sent to people who sometimes read them. He had dinner on Thursday night, where the reserve director was going to give a small speech. His wife had bought yellow paint for the kitchen. His daughter was coming from Lisbon on the weekend. Everything was in order. Everything was accounted for. Bika dropped the chick at his feet and sat down. He looked at it for a moment. Then he picked it up in both hands, gently, the way you pick up something you already know you're going to be responsible for. And he felt the fast, shallow breathing against his palms, and the bad angle of the left wing, and the small gash on the foot, and he thought, of course. Then he picked it up in both hands, gently, the way you pick up something you already know you're going to be responsible for. And he felt the fast, shallow breathing against his palms, and the bad angle of the left wing, and the small gash on the foot, and he thought, of course. He set up the box in the back room. Heat lamp, shallow water dish, strips of chicken breast fed with tweezers every few hours. He cleaned the wound and set the wing. Bika slept outside the door and didn't need to be asked. That evening, he saw the mother from the kitchen window, quartering the eastern slope in long, slow passes, back and forth, low enough that he could see the deliberate tilt of her wings at each turn. Not hunting, searching. He watched her until the light went out, and then went to check the water dish. She was at it again the next morning, and the morning after that. Wider passes each day, expanding outward from the cork oak the way you do when the obvious places keep coming up empty. Manuel watched her from the window each morning with his coffee going cold in his hand, and said nothing to anyone. By Saturday, the chick was hopping across the tiled floor with its wings half out, working out the mechanics of itself. Manuel sat on an overturned feed bucket and watched it, and knew, without needing to say it, that it was time. He carried it outside in both hands and set it on the low stone wall in the early light, and stepped back. She came from the south, fast and low, and she didn't circle. She landed 2 feet from her chick, wings open for just a moment, then folded. The chick leaned toward her. She leaned back. Then they were simply together, and the slope was just a slope again. The mother stayed on the wall a little longer than she needed to. Before she lifted off, she turned her head and looked directly at Manuel. Not through him, not past him, but at him, the way animals sometimes do when they have decided you are worth the attention. It lasted only a second. Then she spread her wings, and the chick spread his, smaller and unsteady but trying, and they rose together off the wall and caught the morning air above the valley. Manuel watched them until they were just 2 shapes against the sky. Then he looked down at Bika, who was already looking up at him, tail moving, ready for whatever came next. "Come on then," he said. They went inside together, and somewhere in the house, his wife was humming, and the kitchen smelled like fresh paint, and Manuel Ferreira set his coffee down and started